Today, I want to tell you about one of the most magical places on Earth, coral reefs. They are among the most diverse and most colorful ecosystems in the world. And once you have seen them, they have a fascinating hold forever. Egypt is rich in coral reefs all along the Red Sea. Let us go and learn a bit more about these magical gardens under the sea. To start our fantastic journey, I'm standing here next to a modern Egyptian masterpiece by the late Salah Abd al-Karim. He took some old junk and made us dream of the sea. Look at how this fish is composed of spoons and forks, and how this barracuda is made of old chains and has nails for its teeth. Coral reefs are formed by the accretion of the skeletons of billions of tiny little creatures known as coral polyps. They are relatives of the jellyfish. It may seem surprising, but think of them as upside-down versions of each other. The one with its tentacles upwards is fastened in a calcium-based skeleton fixed to the bottom or to rocks, while the jellyfish is free swimming in the water. Both of these creatures are of the family of cnidarians, meaning that they tend to have some level of sting that in most cases is not even felt by humans. But in some cases, they can be very painful to humans, such as in this fire coral, whose tiny hairs get under human skin and cause irritations that hurt very badly. They can even be fatal sometimes, such as the sting of this box jellyfish from Australia. The corals live in colonies. They can effectively build enormous complex structures that tend to protect the shore from the action of the waves and can extend for hundreds of miles in interesting formations. The most extensive such construct is the Great Barrier Reef off the east coast of Australia. It extends over 1,200 miles with countless small islands, atolls, lagoons, among the more jagged and inhospitable parts of the reef. It is home to many species and has been very extensively studied by scientists, perhaps more so than most other coral reef formations in the world. Australia devotes much effort to this endeavor and has produced some of the most detailed analyses of coral reefs in the world. Here is the monumental 3-volume encyclopedia of coral reefs of the world by Professor John Veron. Now, let me show you. Every page is devoted to a separate species of coral reefs. And come closer, let me share a special treat with you. On this page, you will see that Professor Veron has named this particular coral in my honor, the Montastria Serageldini. I have my very own coral. But although coral reefs make up a minute part of the oceans, corals are found all around the planet in the warm waters of the tropical zones. We here in Egypt have some very beautiful coral reefs in the Red Sea.
أغنى جزء عندنا هو الجزء البحري، يعني إذا عدينا 2000 نبات فعم نتكلم على 4000 نوع تحت البحر، ده اللي نعرفه، لأن طبعا في حاجات تانية كتيرة محتاجة دراسة. بالتأكيد مصر متميزة جدا من ناحية التنوع البيولوجي تحت البحر.
بداية من الشمال ممكن نمسك جاكسون ريف مثلا، توماس، جوردون، وود هاوس، دي مناطق معروفة عالميا والناس بتيجي قصدها، زائد رأس محمد طبعا. ولو نزلنا تحت كمان للجزر الموجودة في البحر الأحمر، جزيرة الأخوين، زبرجد، روكي، سان جونز، كل دي أماكن من الأماكن اللي معروفة عالميا.
The reef communities. Note that I refer to them in the plural. That is because there are several distinct communities that coexist and not necessarily come frequently into contact with each other. So let us say a few words about the ecology of the reef.
Coral reefs are often thought of as the rainforests of the sea. They are the home to untold millions of creatures in the ocean. Corals provide a very rich three-dimensional habitat, much like forests, for all of the smaller and sometimes large creatures of the ocean.
It is in shallow waters, as corals like to live close to the sun and to receive a lot of light. Why? Because they harbor tiny, tiny plants inside them. The plants are called zooxanthellae, and they look like little dots, which you can barely make out in looking at the corals very closely. They help in transforming light into energy, and this partnership is one of the most remarkable plant-animal combinations in the world. The coral themselves are catching the tiny plankton that is floating in the currents. There are also soft corals. And these are actually from different families of animals than the hard corals. And they come in many varieties and colors. Then there are the sponges, all shapes and colors. Tubular sponges in bright purple, sponges that grow on rocks in yellow and deep red. The sponges are always there to remind us that the plant and animal kingdoms are not the only kingdoms on Earth or within the sea. The fish are plentiful, and frequently watching them swim in school formations is a truly beautiful sight. Some fish are herbivores. The parrotfish, so named for its parrot-like beak and its bright coloring, is one of the most common and beautiful of the herbivores on the reef. carnivores also abound. They tend to include the free-swimming predators, like the barracuda, as well as the ambush predators, like this moray eel or this grouper. The fish can be superbly camouflaged. As in the case of this scorpionfish. Or they can flaunt their colors and their appearance, as in the case of this lionfish. The lionfish, which has venomous tipped feathers, can just take a defensive posture, knowing that no predator would attack it. And do not forget that reptiles are also represented in that wonderful creature, the turtle. And then there are the very small creatures, the cleaner wrasse and the cleaner shrimp, who are given safety passes by the big fish to come and clean them even inside their mouth and in their gills. This is another one of these remarkable symbiotic relationships that we find on the reef. Nothing is lost on the reef. The detritus is recycled by the sea cucumbers and the sea slugs and other bottom dwellers. And add to that the clams, the many-colored fishes swimming all over the reef, and you have a truly magical garden, one of the most biologically diverse habitats in the world. And then there is the fearsome side of the reef, the sharks. One of the oldest creatures around, the shark is a cartilaginous fish. It preceded the vertebrates. It is a superb hunter whose design has been honed to perfection over 400 million years ago. They were the apex predator. They feared no creature in the sea. Until humans, a land animal, took to the sea. But they generally do not search out humans, and sharks prefer to stick to their usual prey. They're not really a danger to humans.
يعني سمكة القرش بخلاف جميع الأسماك ما بيقدرش يعمل عملية الهوفرنج اللي هي الطفو الثابت. قرش ما بيقدرش يعوم وما بيقدرش يتنفس لو ما اتحركش. فمع الأسف حالة الحركة الدائمة له في المية بتثير ذعر الناس اللي بتتفرج عليه. مع الأسف بنهاجم سمكة القرش هجوم غير مبرر نتيجة لأن معلوماتنا كانت جاية من أفلام سينمائية من نوع الإثارة والمغامرة.
Today, humans are destroying sharks in unprecedented numbers, mostly for their fins, which are prized to make shark fin soup in the Orient. But because they are apex predators, the sharks do not reproduce quickly. And they did not have any enemies before humans, with human technology, started to come to the sea to decimate them.
موضوع اللي بيتعمل في جميع انحاء العالم موضوع التشامينج، لما بيحبوا يجتذبوا قرش بيجيبوا حيوان ميت نفق او سمكه او حاجه ميته ويحطوها في الميه بدمها علشان تجتذب سمكه القرش، يقوموا يعرفوا يصوروها. ودي بقت حتى مع الاسف نوع من انواع السياحه المدره لملايين الدولارات لبعض الدول. الجهات الرسميه اللي هي اساسا سنت قوانين حمايه سمكه القرش سنه 2006 هي اللي بتصطادها.
Sharks are disappearing. It is a great loss, similar to the loss of the tiger on land. The close cousins of the sharks are the rays. Here is a manta ray, and this enormous, slow-moving swimmer who actually, despite its fearsome appearance, only eats tiny plankton, moves slowly about the reef. But we shouldn't be surprised that it eats only tiny plankton. After all, the largest creatures in the world, the whales, frequently eat only very tiny krill. But the reef, with or without the sharks, remained dazzling displays of every conceivable color and shape. And when the sun sets, we have another reef. There is the night community. These are creatures that come out at night. Most crustaceans and sea stars are night feeders, and they prefer to hide in the crevices during the day. And sea urchins are among the residents who prefer to sally forth during the night. Some of the residents of the reef are truly spectacular. Look at this undulating mollusk, which we call the Spanish dancer. It is among the most spectacular residents of the reef. Also, near the corals, we find the wrecks of ships that sank to the bottom. And not only are they witnesses to history, but also they formed new habitats for the smaller reef creatures.
To have a wreck underwater, it means